forward. Okay, so this is a reminder for everyone joining us online. Okay, you can engage with us through the Whova app. So first you find the session, and then you launch the streaming, and over to the right-hand panel, you have the chat box. So make sure you select chat, not the Q&A option. You'll write your questions in the space provided, and then my colleague Sarah will shout out questions, responses, and then any links that I'm going to share will be shared through the chat box. Okay, so we have a few things on the agenda today. So everyone's here about AI, yeah? And what does that mean for assessments these days? Okay? A few things I wanted to touch on today. First, I want you to understand AI's impact, especially in adult education, and how that's affecting, you know, some of our favorite traditional assessments. Then we're going to lead into exploring the AI assessment scale. Okay? This is a good framework to use if you want to integrate AI into your assessments or leave it out. And then towards the end of the session, I'm going to give you the chance to redesign and evaluate your current assessments, okay, to help you create some fair and accurate assessments. And then at the end, I'll share some resources and we'll share out some takeaways. Now, by all means, this is not rejecting or preventing you from using AI by any means. We might use AI today, but this is not to discourage you from using AI in your assessments. This is to help you understand that in this day and age, we need to rethink how we assess our students, okay? In the age of AI, okay? We can integrate AI or we can leave it out, but we want to empower our students to use it. We don't want to discourage them, yeah? So just an introduction. Again, my name is Vi Hawes. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm an ESOL instructor and EdTech specialist at Pima Community College, Adult Basic Education for college and career in Tucson, Arizona. I've been in both my roles for about 10 years now. Yeah, and I'm also operating out of my LLC, VH EdTech Consulting. A few fun facts about myself. I completed both a half and a full marathon. Right, I don't look it right now, but I did, I swear. Both were gratifying once you cross the finish line. I am expecting my second child in May. And then I'm graduating with my master's in May. So that's gonna be this is gonna be exciting. I know the timing of it all. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to stay connected, you can scan the QR codes. There's gonna be a lot of QR codes today. You can scan the QR code. You'll be then prompted to save my contact information on your phone. If not, you can collect a business card on your way out. It has the same QR code. If you like the physical, than the digital. I'll give you a minute. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to move forward. Okay. This activity I'm going to lead you through. It's kind of like a little icebreaker. You'll be given a couple of texts. Some of them were AI generated, but then some were created by our students. So with the person next to you, I want you to determine, was this written by AI or by a human? Okay? So I'm just going to go through the slide one by one. Okay? Talk with the person next to you, and then after a little bit, just shout out. Tell me, AI or human? Yeah. If you have the slides, here, let me see. Yeah. It's a little hard to see from here, huh? Let me see. So this was an AI policy for a class. So it describes like when to use it and then when not to use it. Do we have any people online giving their guesses? If you have access to the slides, you can share it with your neighbor. Yeah. Human generated or AI generated? Okay. Human? Wow, a lot of people say human. Okay. Why? What was the indicator? Really? Okay, okay. That is true. Okay. Nachi? Okay. Okay. So this was AI. Yeah. Now, given the student pasted this in her email when she sent it to her teacher, so I think there, yeah, so that's why there's that mistake. But it was generated by AI. Yeah. Hopefully, this next one you can see. AI or human? The float. What? What are your thoughts? Okay. 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 AI. So it sounds like a consensus for AI. Mm. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes. So right now there's a consensus saying it's AI. Does everyone agree? Any human guesses? Or people think it's human generated? Okay. Well, you'll be very surprised. This is written by a student. Yes. Ah. Yeah. Camera. All right. So this is human generated. Hmm. Let me. Yeah. Okay. How about this one? AI or human? People are doubting themselves now. Canned. Okay, so AI. Okay. Ah, yeah. One more time. A lot of run-on sentences. Okay. Yeah. Right. Chantel says AI. So if you're saying that there's a lot of run-on sentences, that's human generated? Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So with a person here is saying that with AI there'll be more cohesiveness, it'll be more coherent. While in this case, there seems to be a lot more run-on sentences. His grammar is better. Okay. Okay. So it's actually both. So this student used AI to help, you know, pick out some of the words that they need to convey what they wanted, and then jumbled it together in this. Yeah. So she used both. We don't say achievement of man. Okay. So that particular phrasing is a little out of date. Okay. Sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's very sophisticated. The language is very sophisticated. At least from what my student said, like she used she both written out her responses and then used AI to help structure it. Yeah. All right. Here's the last one. AI or human? Yeah, a few guesses saying human. You can ask it too. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Human. Okay. For those of you who just came in, briefly look at the text and tell me if it's AI or human. Human. Okay. Any other guesses? Okay. You think it's AI? Yeah. Okay. That's true. Yeah. 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 So someone said that you really need to know your students and their writing styles in order to understand, yeah, if this is them writing it or was AI generated, right? Okay. What? Oh, okay. Dora the Explorer wrote this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 And so a lot of you are correct. This is AI generated. Yeah. Good guessing. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. So I have a few questions for everyone here. So I'm gonna go around. If you have an answer, then I'll pass the microphone to you. But based on what we looked at, so some of those texts were AI generated, some were human generated. Which assessments are at risk of being AI generated? Writing, okay. Like what type of writing? Just any? Essays, research papers, okay. Yeah. What other assessments? Okay, yeah. So multiple choice. Okay, all right. So would that mean like, so when you create multiple choice assessments, do you think your students are gonna take advantage of AI to cheat and find the answers? Okay, there's a risk to any of the assessments. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking, yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking more of how your students are going to use AI to quote unquote cheat. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So if there are parameters or restrictions in place, then they might not be able to use AI. Okay. Essays. Anyone online? Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I've done to put into place when it comes to the essays is having them actually share their drive and their document of process from like Google Drive. And there's free extensions then that I can see how long it took them. I see their edits back and forth. So there are some things in place, but I don't feel like we all know those things. And is it efficient for us to constantly do that as well? So it's like thinking about the time management of this as well.
That's a really good point. All right. Any other thoughts? Can everyone online hear us okay? Okay. 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 Let's see. I know that's a lot to repeat right now. So when you are speaking, speak up. So then, yeah, yeah. Can you?
Okay. So one of the things that I've been doing with the essay writing is using Google Drive. They share their drive with me or the folder in the drive. There's an extension called Brisk that's free. And then I can see their whole process of writing while they're doing it. There's also things that are in beta mode, still testing it out with Grammarly for authorship as well. And so then they can send a report or include that in the document, and I can see all of those things as well.
Yeah, that's very good. A lot of tools have been improving and updating a lot in that way to prevent cheating and plagiarism. Okay. Which assessments require more human thought and creativity without the use of AI? Go ahead.
Maybe opinion. Oh my goodness, sorry. Opinion papers or asking for background, like maybe using some of their past experiences, so it's more personal.
Personal reflections. Okay. What else? Oh yeah, go ahead.
A lot of people are talking more about project-based learning. So if it's project-based, it's harder to create with AI.
Project based. So something students need to create, collaborate with each other, right, to have a final outcome. Okay. So, with all of that being said, how can we modify assessments to promote deeper learning and reflection? So, some of you mentioned project based learning, personal reflections. Any other ideas?
I think also it goes back to being able to document your process.
Yeah, so documenting students' process, learning process, like maybe portfolios. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's saying that it's important that both the teachers and the students understand how AI works, right? Well, first the teacher, but then the teacher can model what it looks like to use AI ethically. Yeah? These are great. Any thoughts online? All right. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next section. So, why we need to rethink and redesign our assessments. Let's see. So, AI is not going away. In case you didn't know, I think a lot of our students are already using AI to some extent. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. So it might be just our end, but it should be okay with us here. Let me see. Maybe join Zoom. Maybe that might be ideal actually. Okay, here we go. Just a moment. Maybe that helps. Okay, hopefully. All right, there we go. Okay. So again, our adult learners are already using AI or ChatGPT for a lot of things, for writing, for our ESOL learners, maybe for translation, conversation practice, okay, and test preparation. So with AI, it can enhance digital literacy, but it adds a layer of challenge in measuring true learning. Yeah. So our ESL learners are using ChatGPT for writing practice. A lot of our ABE students are probably using it for test prep, creating resumes, cover letters, okay, things like that. I'm sure that a lot of them are already using it. So that being said, there are a lot of vulnerabilities with our current assessments, right? A lot of you are here concerned about cheating, about plagiarism, right? Academic integrity is on the line. So with all of that, essays can be generated pretty near perfect responses. Yeah. Multiple choice exams. Some of you mentioned multiple choice exams. AI tools can predict and provide correct answers when questions are entered. Yeah. And then just, some traditional online assessments like discussion boards and other assignments mimicking student voice. So even though, yeah, personal reflections are great, and sometimes AI can't replicate that, but with if you're good at prompting, prompt engineering, you can get it to mimic a student voice, a student opinion. Can everyone see? Okay. So I want to change our mindset. I want to move beyond the idea that using AI is cheating. Okay? I want to help us get into a mindset that AI can be used as a tool. We can leverage it not just for us, but our students can use it for their learning process. Okay? It's a valuable resource. It's not just a cheating mechanism. It can be used as cheating, but as teachers, we can model what it looks like and how to use AI well. Yeah? Again, ethical usage. So you mentioned teaching students how AI works, right? The foundations, what are the capabilities of AI and what are the limitations? So that's AI literacy. So you've heard that term being thrown around. AI literacy is so important right now to help students use it responsibly. And then a lot of people also mention the issue of, students not going to be able to write anymore. They're going to lose their creativity. They're not going to be able to critically think or problem solve. I don't think that's true. We are actually going to need all of these skills more than ever. In the age of AI, we can teach our students to critically think and analyze all of these AI outputs. Okay?
Difficult to use AI. Then, I'm 60 years old, so I came from the era when you had to find it in a book and then figure out how to paraphrase it, and oftentimes that did not end well, when you're trying to change up someone else's words. And so I really think the ethical usage, because for me it has been a learning experience about I use it not only for my students, but for, we just wrote a grant, a competitive grant, and I used it, don't tell anyone, to help enhance that writing. But, I'm not going to lie, I shed some tears over this because getting it to produce the outcome that I wanted took practice. So it's not something, it is a tool through and through. And if you use it for cheating, people are going to know. So
Yeah, I love that. And and then even if that's something that's out of our control, we can't really control completely. We can't control how our students are using AI. We if they are cheating, then that happens. But they're cheating, down the road. There will be consequences when they do cheat.
To expand on what you were saying about the process of having to use AI and trying to dig through it, just at starting to create new units for next year, getting them just right. Trying to, the resources, even if they bring it to me is not the right resource, it may not be able to, that article is not available anymore. I don't know why it's being shown that way, that it is still a link available, but going through and having to fine tune. And I think that's where the critical thinking comes into play.
No, I think it's up to 24 now. Yeah. And that's ChatGPT. So if you have a subscription to ChatGPT, you have probably the most recent data sets. If you have a subscription, yeah. No, no. They updated it a while now. Probably a few months back. It, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Again, understanding the limitations of AI. And one of those limitations is data, information. Right. Okay. So we can't move forward without addressing the problem with AI detectors. So I know a lot of programs, universities, schools are utilizing AI detectors to prevent cheating, but it kind of perpetuates the problem. Why? Because with AI detectors, they simply don't work a lot of the times. And if when they do, there are more false positives. Okay? They often flag human written text as AI generated, leading to unfair accusations. You've heard stories of university professors accusing a student for AI generating an essay, but when truthfully, he wrote it all himself. And then these days, it can be easily bypassed. If you're really good at prompt engineering, you can make minor edits or paraphrasing that can fool AI detectors. Okay. And then there's bias against non-native English writers. So our ESOL learners are more likely to be flagged due to their writing. Okay. And then, of course, if you use AI detectors, it creates a distrust between us and our students. Okay? If you continue to use this approach, instead of focusing on how to use AI ethically, we are creating more fear and confusion. Okay? So if you have used AI detectors before, that's, that's fine. But again, it's the same with just using AI tools. You want to take things with a grain of salt. Okay. So I want to take the time to explore this next framework. It's called the AI Assessment Scale. Let me pass these out. Jody, can you pass one out for everybody? Thank you for being here. So what I'm passing out right now is very colorful. It's a colorful chart called the AI Assessment Scale, or AIAS. It was designed and created by Leon Furtz, who is first and foremost an educator. He is an AI expert, and he created this out of the sheer desire to help our students utilize AI while also be able to reflect on their learning and get the most out of their learning and their assessments. So basically, there are 5 levels. So I'm going to go through it here with everyone. Let's see, why don't I go through? Okay. So I think everyone has. Here, let me just put this up for everyone online. So it's 5 levels, starting with number 1. Okay. You can use this as a framework, as a guide, or even something for your students to give them an idea how much AI they can use in their assessments, in their homework, what have you. So for example, the first level is no AI. Okay. Show the framework, show them, okay, this assessment is completed entirely without AI assistance in a controlled environment, ensuring that students are relying on their existing knowledge, understanding, and skills. Okay. And all in bold, you must not use AI at any point during the assessment. Okay. And then you move on to level 2, okay? AI planning. So in this case, your assessment might include pre-task activities where students can use AI to brainstorm, to outline something, or do some initial research. Okay? It focuses on the effective use of AI for planning, coming up with ideas, but the assessment should emphasize the ability to develop and refine these ideas independently. Okay. So let me just go through here. So level 1, again, students can't use generative AI. So some examples would be technology-free discussions, role play, or in-class writing reflections. Okay. So you're setting the parameters. This is not a place for you to use AI. Okay. Level 2, again, you can use AI as part of your planning process, brainstorm some ideas, but the final work must be created by the student. Okay. Some examples: collaborative brainstorming, writing outlines, okay, research assistance, spell check. And then another example here. Learners can use it for brainstorming vocabulary and concepts, but then they have to write their own sentences. Yeah? Okay. The next level, level 3, this is collaboration. Similar to the second level, here the AI can be used to complete a task like generating ideas, drafting, asking for feedback, and refining the work. But here, students need to critically analyze the output. Okay. Correcting grammar and spelling, AI-generated word problems that students can solve manually. Here, students can input maybe the written work, ask AI for some revisions or corrections, but then they have to rewrite on their own. AI-generated vocabulary lists with student-created example sentences. Okay, and this next one is full AI usage. AI can be used in any elements of the process of the task, with students directing AI to achieve their goals. Okay? Providing writing feedback, students refine their drafts. AI can simulate real-world conversations for language practice. Students use AI to generate real-world math problems and solve and explain them. Okay. And then, or another idea would be have AI generate resumes, then have students reflect and explain their choices.
Yeah.
About why they select certain things to be put into their resumes. Okay. And then this next one, this is like full exploration, right? You provide the space and the time for both you and the students to explore the AI and its capabilities. Okay? You're using this together with your students. Okay? It's suitable for tasks where generative AI is integral to learning outcomes. Okay? You might explore a new tool together. You can co-create something together. AI-generated dialogues are used for peer discussion and analysis. Whoops, I guess that's it. Yeah. Any questions about the scale? So it's not just for you, but you can also use it with your students, right? When you're giving out an assessment, then you can give out the framework and show them, okay, we're at level 3 in using AI. Or we're at number 1. I don't want you to use AI, right? This helps give your students an idea because you're creating parameters for your students. You're allowing them or not allowing them to use AI for their assessments. Right? A lot of the times, I think our students are willing to follow the instructions and not cheat. Right? I think you need to create opportunities for your students to explore AI and at the same time that they're confident in their skills to not have to use it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Everyone online, if you can hear me, if you can see us, can you indicate that in the chat box, please? We haven't heard from you in a while. Oh, okay, good. Always want to double check. Okay. I'm going to give you the opportunity to redesign and rethink your assessments. I don't know if you have seen some of the messages I've been sending out on the Hoover app, but I ask you to bring in maybe your favorite assessments. But if not, that's okay. Think of an assessment that you like to use for your class. It could be in class, it could be take home, all right? One of your favorite assessments, okay? So think of or choose one of your current assessments to evaluate, okay? And then you're going to determine the appropriate AI level for this assessment. So here you're going to use the scale and to see where does it fall on the scale. Do you want it to integrate AI to some extent or no AI whatsoever? Okay. And in a bit, I'm going to show you a resource here. Okay. And then last, discuss in small groups, so the people next to you, and answer the question, how can this assessment be adapted for AI use? If you haven't considered it for this particular assessment. Okay. So if you have a favorite essay prompt, okay, where does it fall in the AI level scale? And then would you consider integrating AI in your essay prompt? Okay. Yeah. So work together if you want. So after that, you'll discuss in small groups and then discuss how this assessment can be adapted for AI use. Okay. Now, before you go on, let's see what time we have. Okay, just a little bit. So this is for everyone who has ChatGPT. So you'll need to have an account in order to access this custom GPT. So the creator, Leon First, also created this custom GPT where you can input your assessments and it can analyze it for you. Okay? So I have the QR code here. And then if you have the link to it, if you can share it with everyone online, that'd be great. So here you can ask it to review your assessment. Okay? Or something went wrong. When it does work, you can ask it to review your assessment. It'll ask certain questions, just like the type of assessment, what are the learning outcomes, and things like that. You can just type the bare minimum, and then it can determine, okay, this could fall under, level 4 of the assessment scale, and then some ways to improve it to prevent cheating. Okay? So this is here. Yes. So that'll be on your phone, yeah. Yes. So once we're getting towards the end, I can share the slides again with you. So I'm going to give maybe 6 minutes for you to evaluate your assessment. You can either refer to the paper scale or access the custom GPT and then discuss how can this assessment be adapted for AI use. Okay? So I'll give you some time to do that. 2 more minutes to work. All right, let's come back together. All right, I want to hear from you. What are some of your ideas? What are your assessment modifications and adaptations? You can reiterate.
Well, one of the things I said I would use it for as a RLA language instructor is to the RLA essay test on the test has just been elusive to getting points. And so my quest is to figure out how to get my students at least 1 point on that essay. And so I would use it for me to be able to teach a lesson in a way that they would be able to understand. But I think it would be great for them to be able to go in and write on something, but then use AI to help revise it, the grammar, rewriting what's not clear, so they understand better the five paragraph essay prompt.
This isn't my idea. This is a friend of mine who teaches high school math, but she has AI and she's very specific in her parameters and whatever they're working on right then. She has them like AI create 20 questions, but she tells it to get 2 of them wrong and tells them it, but like spells it out that she wants them to be logically wrong. And so then she gives the students both the assignment and the answer key, and then it's their job to figure out which 2 are incorrect, and then they have to explain, and then they have to write, like part of their assignment is to write in words why why the math problem was wrong.
That's a great example of like critical thinking and analysis. Yeah. Any other ideas?
So I'm working trying to get it to answer me. It's not answering me. Yeah, but so one of the things that I have been doing with my students is even in preparation for them, kind of like what you guys were saying with state testing or any type of testing, but mine with my high school seniors that may not have passed the state tests yet. They're writing these paragraphs based off of things that we've written, but they have to write it first. They're having to bring text in from the piece that we worked with, but then how do they refine that? So I'm able to use other ones, not through ChatGPT, but it's still AI feedback that they're able to see it instantaneously, not from me, but from somebody else based off of the rubric that I'm using for them just to have good writing. And then they have several attempts to do that, and then they finally submit it.
Great. Thank you for sharing. All right. Any ideas online? No? Okay, yeah. So students don't know what a good GED paper looks like. Okay.
This is not a passing essay. This is an essay that would get you 1 point. This is an essay that would get you 5 points. And so I think having examples or having them use this to, like I said, redefine or refine what they've written, yeah, is great.
Good idea. Okay. All right, good. Thank you everybody for sharing. I'm actually have to move forward now, running out of time. Oh, again. Okay, I'm going to share a couple of classroom examples with you. So this is from one of our instructors. So this is a tier 2 vocabulary and ChatGPT project. So the first part, she had her students create a realistic conversation. You've seen some of the texts earlier. Some of them were AI generated, some were human generated. So first she had her students create a realistic conversation using the tier 2 vocabulary words that she's given them. So they first have to define it, understand what the words mean, how to structure it, and then they create their own dialogue. After that, they use ChatGPT to generate a dialogue with the same tier 2 vocabulary words. And then they compare and contrast. So this is a good example of first a level 3 AI collaboration assessment. And then at the end, they get to fully use AI to generate something. And then they get to compare both. Yeah, so here's an example. So the red box is student generated. And then they had a prompt. This is the prompt in the blue box that they put into ChatGPT. Create a formal job interview using these words. And then this dialogue should be 10 to 15 lines long. Then the outlined blue box is what ChatGPT suggested. Yeah. So here, students first create their dialogue and they present and use it, and then they use ChatGPT to create a similar dialogue. Yeah. And here's the other one. One of our instructors had students, after understanding the capabilities and limitations of ChatGPT, they created a classroom policy, a classroom agreement on how AI will be used. Okay. So this first text I showed you, this was generated by AI from a student. But each student were encouraged to create a policy to share and then compile with the rest of the class to then have a one classroom agreement, kind of set expectations on how AI will be used in the class. Again, this is an example of a level 4 full AI usage. Okay. Okay, yeah, so a lot of these strategies we've talked about already, and I've showed you some classroom examples, but these are some ideas that can help with assessments that are AI resistant, okay, like project-based learning, create portfolio assessments. This is a great way to collect student work over time, and they can see their progress and to see how much they've learned. Okay. Oral and practical demonstrations, okay, those are classic. And then written personal reflections. And if you really want to restrict any AI usage, you can do it at home. Oh no, do it in class. Oh. Okay, so I want to give you some time to share some of your takeaways for today. Okay. So this is a Padlet. So you'll do this on your phone. So scan the QR code, and then you'll be taken to a Padlet, and then share your 3, 2, 1 takeaways. I don't know if you are familiar with this exit ticket, but once you scan and get access to the Padlet, I'm going to show you what it looks like. So there should be 3 categories. The first one, you're going to type down 3 things you've learned today, 3 takeaways. So let me show you. Okay, so 3 things you've learned, first off. And then underneath this section, share 2 ways you plan to apply this in your assessments. And then this next category, write 1 question you still have. And then you can post it here. So I'm going to put up the QR code again. Give you some time to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys take a look up here. I have the Padlet up. Yep. All right. All right. Let's see what people say. 3 things you've learned. Okay. The assessment scale, of course. Setting goals and expectations. Great. Let your students embrace using AI. Yeah, they don't have to, yeah, be afraid of using it. I think a lot of the time students share their concerns of using AI. It's just because I think they also respect their instructors. They want to be able to you complete assignments and assessments in a way that is respectable for their instructors. And to also not to get in trouble. Yeah, okay. Assessment scale. I like having them use citations of AI. Yeah. So that's another thing I can share with you here briefly before I let you go. There are some resources I can share with you here in a bit. Okay. All right. Hmm. right, very good, very good. All right. So let me go grab that QR code. So let me give you that QR code again for the slides, because it will also have all the resources I'm going to share with you here. I'm just going to paste it right here. Let me just, yeah, of course. Okay. So these are some AI resources that you can click on if you have access to these slides. I have blog articles, talks a little bit more about the assessment scale in action, some different examples from K through 12 or higher ed. And then the lessons that I mentioned earlier, the classroom lessons, I put it here, as well as some ESL Brains lesson slides on AI that you can use. Okay. Now this one, attribution for AI, transparency for AI infused projects. So I'm going to show it to you here. Okay. This was a project. The idea is, again, to be transparent on the use of AI. So if you're familiar with all of the different icons for OER resources, right, and how they're distributed, how it should be shared, so they created something similar for AI. So when you click on this link, it'll take you to the Google Drive with all of the images. But you can encourage your students to use these when they are generating something, so that you can teach them transparency. Okay, you can use, oops. You can use this if it's completely created by AI. This one is modified by humans. Okay. This one's for profit. Okay. Made by humans and modified by AI. Okay. So this is a great resource. Okay. So I provided that all here. Okay. Yep, right here. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, right here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're at 9. Yeah, 9:09, just in time. Okay. And then just a quick reminder, we have a digital literacy and technology strand activities. There's a networking event later tonight at 5 p.m. in Reunion F. And then there's another one, it's a lunch that's going to be determined later where, but come join us if you want to collaborate, if you want to connect with us. Okay. And that's it. Thank you everybody for joining me today. Thank you everybody online. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the conference. Okay, thank you everybody. I'm going to leave this up here again for everyone. Yay. Monster. Thank you. I appreciate it.